love the Eagles as much as we do, then hit that subscribe button and stick with us at Eagles Nest News for all the drama, updates, and hype all season long. In this first part of the story, the shockwaves rolling through the American football landscape feel almost unreal, like the kind of whisper that starts in a quiet corner of the internet and suddenly becomes the loudest conversation in the room. The idea that the Eagles would step forward and announce a star tied to the Patriots, especially a name like Drake May, sounds like pure madness at first listen, and that is exactly why everyone is leaning in closer. Fans are asking how such a move could even be possible. Analysts are replaying every previous comment and sideline glance, and content creators are treating this as the kind of rumor that can reshape narratives overnight. When a franchise known for patience and structure appears to throw a grenade into the league's sense of order, the reaction is immediate disbelief mixed with excitement. People are not just questioning contracts and logistics. They're questioning motives, power plays, and secret conversations that may have been happening far from the cameras. In the tone of a YouTuber breaking news with raised eyebrows and dramatic pauses, this feels like one of those moments where history might be bending slightly, even if the full truth is still hidden. The Eagles do not usually move quietly, but this felt louder than usual, as if the announcement itself was designed to test reactions before revealing anything concrete. That is what fuels the speculation, the sense that we are only seeing the tip of something much larger. As the rumor spreads, the narrative quickly turns toward Drake May himself, a player whose name alone carries weight, expectation, and a future that many assumed was firmly aligned with the Patriots' long-term vision. Hearing his name linked to the Eagles creates an image clash that almost feels cinematic, like seeing a familiar hero suddenly wearing different colors in a trailer that drops without warning. Fans begin dissecting his body language in past interviews, rewatching old clips where he spoke about legacy, pressure, and growth, trying to find hidden meaning that could support this sudden twist. The speculation suggests that May might represent more than talent to the Eagles, that he could symbolize a philosophical shift, a statement that the franchise is willing to challenge traditional boundaries and take calculated risks that others fear. From a YouTube storyteller's perspective, this is gold, because it allows the narrative to flow between admiration and controversy. Some voices argue that this could be a strategic masterstroke, while others insist it smells like leverage or misdirection. The beauty of rumor lies in that gray area, where nothing is confirmed but everything feels possible. The Eagles, intentionally or not, have placed May at the center of a conversation that extends far beyond the field and into questions about loyalty, ambition, and the invisible chess game played by front offices. Another layer of intrigue comes from how the Patriots are portrayed in this swirling speculation, because any mention of losing a star figure, even symbolically, triggers emotional responses from one of the most passionate fan bases in sports. The rumor suggests tension without explicitly stating it, implying that something behind closed doors might not be as stable as once believed. You can almost hear a YouTuber lowering their voice, saying that sometimes the loudest moves come from silent disagreements. Were there philosophical differences about development, about control, about the future direction of the team? The Eagles' alleged announcement forces Patriot supporters to confront uncomfortable questions, not about a single player, but about the perception of their organization in the current league climate. Rumors thrive on these doubts because they do not need evidence, only plausibility. The Eagles stepping into this space feels like a challenge, almost a dare, suggesting that they see opportunity where others see certainty. This fuels endless reaction videos, comment sections filled with arguments, and speculative thumbnails designed to capture disbelief. The narrative becomes less about whether the move is real and more about what it represents, a possible shift in power dynamics that could ripple outward if proven true. From the Eagles' perspective, as painted by this speculative storyline, the move is framed as bold confidence rather than reckless impulse. The rumor paints the front office as a group unafraid of criticism, willing to dominate headlines to assert relevance and ambition. In YouTube-style narration, this is where the voice grows animated, emphasizing that great franchises are not built by playing it safe forever. The Eagles announcing a Patriot star, even in a rumored or symbolic sense, send a message to the league that they are watching, waiting, and ready to strike when the moment aligns. It suggests an internal belief that the next era of dominance belongs to those who control narratives as much as rosters. This interpretation turns the rumor into a branding exercise, a psychological play designed to unsettle rivals and energize fans. Supporters imagine what could be, critics warn about hubris, and neutral observers simply enjoy the chaos. The lack of concrete detail keeps the story alive, because every retelling adds a new angle, a new theory, a new emotional hook. That is how rumors survive and grow, feeding on the uncertainty they create. The media reaction, especially in the YouTube ecosystem, becomes part of the story itself, with creators racing to be the loudest or the most insightful voice in the room. This rumor about the Eagles and Drake May is the kind of topic that encourages long monologues, dramatic thumbnails, and speculative deep dives that stretch late into the night. Each creator adds personal flair, some focusing on financial gymnastics, others on locker room dynamics, and others on pure shock value. The audience plays along, dissecting every word, pausing videos to argue in the comments, and sharing clips as if they were clues in a mystery. In this environment, the line between news and entertainment blurs completely, and the rumor thrives because it offers both. It feels like a live story, evolving with every reaction, even though no official confirmation changes hands. That constant motion is what keeps viewers hooked, waiting for the next twist or denial. By the time this first part of the narrative settles, the rumor has already achieved its primary goal, which is to dominate attention and force everyone to think differently about familiar names and logos. The Eagles, Drake May, and the Patriots become characters in a speculative drama that feels bigger than any single transaction. The story lingers not because of facts, but because of emotion, imagination, and the thrill of possibility. As a YouTube-style narrator would say, this is one of those moments where you tell the audience to stay tuned, because if even a fraction of this rumor holds weight, the implications could be massive. The conversation pauses, but it does not end, because the second part of this story is where the speculation deepens and the stakes feel even higher. In this second part of the narrative, the rumor evolves from initial shock into deeper analysis, the kind that invites viewers to sit back and imagine alternate realities. The Eagles allegedly tying themselves to Drake May sparks conversations about fit, philosophy, and future vision, even though nothing concrete is laid out. A YouTuber voice would slow down here, emphasizing that speculation is not about certainty, but about connecting dots that may or may not exist. The idea of May in an Eagles context becomes a canvas for imagination, with fans projecting offensive schemes, leadership dynamics, and locker room chemistry. This is where rumor becomes storytelling, less about what is happening and more about what could happen if ambition overrides tradition. The Eagles are painted as disruptors, while May is cast as a symbol of potential reinvention. Even skeptics find themselves playing along, because the mental exercise is too compelling to ignore. The story feeds itself, growing more elaborate with every retelling, each layer adding perceived depth to an unconfirmed situation. The speculation also raises questions about timing and intent, suggesting that such an announcement, even if symbolic, is rarely accidental. In this narrative, the Eagles are portrayed as masters of leverage, using attention as a tool to apply subtle pressure across the league. A YouTube commentator might suggest that this is about testing waters, gauging reactions, and sending messages without committing to anything publicly binding. Drake May's name becomes the spark that ignites broader conversations about market value, quarterback evolution, and organizational patience. Viewers are encouraged to read between the lines, to consider why this rumor surfaced now and who benefits most from its circulation. The lack of denial fuels the fire, allowing imaginations to run free. This is the kind of story that thrives in the absence of clarity, because every unanswered question becomes an invitation to speculate further. For Patriots fans, the second phase of this rumor feels more personal, as the initial shock gives way to defensive analysis and emotional investment. The narrative forces them to consider hypothetical futures they never wanted to entertain, not because they believe the rumor outright, but because ignoring it feels irresponsible. A YouTube-style breakdown might empathize with that discomfort, acknowledging that rumors hurt precisely because they tap into fear of loss and change. Drake May, in this context, is no longer just a player, but a symbol of hope and direction. Seeing his name linked elsewhere, even speculatively, creates unease that fuels debate within the fan base. Some dismiss the story as noise. Others worry that smoke often suggests fire. This internal conflict keeps the rumor alive, because passion ensures engagement. From a league-wide perspective, the Eagles' rumored move is framed as a test of boundaries, challenging unspoken rules about how franchises interact and signal intent. The second part of the narrative leans into the idea that modern sports are as much about perception as performance. A YouTuber might argue that controlling headlines is a form of competition, and that the Eagles are simply playing the game at a higher psychological level. Drake May's association with this rumor elevates it from gossip to potential turning point, because quarterbacks represent identity more than any other position. Even those who doubt the story's validity acknowledge its impact, because it forces conversations that might otherwise stay dormant. The league watches, not necessarily expecting action, but recognizing that something has shifted in how teams communicate ambition. As the rumor matures, it also invites reflection on how quickly narratives can change in the modern media environment. What begins as a shocking announcement can evolve into a layered debate about loyalty, strategy, and the future of the sport. In YouTube fashion, the storyteller reminds viewers that truth often emerges slowly, buried under waves of opinion and reaction. The Eagles and Drake may remain at the center of this storm, not because of confirmed moves, but because of what they represent to fans hungry for drama and possibility. The second part of the story does not resolve anything. It deepens the mystery, encouraging audiences to stay engaged and skeptical at the same time. By the end of this speculative journey, the rumor stands as a reminder of the power of narrative in sports culture. Whether the Eagles truly intend anything with Drake, May, or not almost becomes secondary to the conversation they have ignited. A YouTube-style conclusion would emphasize that rumors like this shape expectations, influence emotions, and keep the league vibrant between real events. The story fades slightly, but its echo remains, ready to resurface with the next hint or headline. In that sense, the shock announcement has already succeeded, not by changing rosters, but by capturing imagination and refusing to let go. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest updates on our Philadelphia Eagles. And don't be shy. Share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. In the second part, the rumor gains a different kind of energy, the kind that feels less like a sudden explosion and more like a slow, burning fire that refuses to go out. After the initial shock settles, the conversation around the Eagles and the supposed announcement involving Drake may begins to mature into something deeper and more analytical. In a YouTube-style narrative, this is the moment where the creator leans forward, lowers the tone, and starts connecting emotional dots instead of just reacting. The speculation now focuses on intent, asking why a franchise would allow such a powerful name to be associated with them in such a public and disruptive way. The story paints the Eagles as fully aware of the chaos this would cause, almost welcoming it as part of a larger plan to assert presence and dominance in a national conversation. Drake May's image becomes central to this phase, not as a confirmed acquisition, but as a symbol of future power, adaptability, and long-term vision. Fans imagine scenarios, not because they are promised, but because the silence from official channels creates space for imagination to run wild. The rumor transforms into a shared narrative experience, where every fan feels like a detective piecing together motives rather than facts. As the hours of discussion pile up, another layer emerges, focusing on Drake, May's personal journey, and how this speculation reframes his public perception. In this imagined storyline, May is no longer just a Patriot star tied to one system or philosophy, but a figure flexible enough to inspire interest from a franchise like the Eagles. A YouTuber would emphasize that this kind of attention, even if unconfirmed, elevates a player's aura across the league. The rumor suggests admiration, intrigue, and perhaps even quiet respect between organizations that rarely show vulnerability. Viewers begin to ask whether May himself benefits from this narrative, whether intentionally or not, because it reinforces his value and relevance in every possible future conversation. The Eagles, in this light, are not stealing, but signaling awareness of greatness. This framing softens resistance and turns controversy into compliment. Even skeptics admit that names do not circulate like this without reason, and that alone keeps the rumor alive and evolving. The Patriots side of the story continues to simmer beneath the surface, shifting from shock to guarded reflection. In YouTube commentary fashion, this is where empathy enters the narrative, acknowledging that dominant franchises are not immune to uncertainty. The rumor forces Patriots supporters to confront how the league views their stars, and whether stability is as permanent as it feels from the inside. Drake may become a mirror reflecting both confidence and vulnerability within the organization. The speculation does not accuse, but it implies, hinting at quiet crossroads and future decisions that have yet to be made. This subtlety makes the story more powerful because it does not rely on confrontation, but on possibility. Fans debate among themselves, some brushing it off as noise, others wondering if preparation is wiser than denial. The rumor thrives in this emotional tension, feeding on the fact that nobody wants to be surprised by reality after ignoring warning signs. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Philadelphia Eagles, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.